Well, good morning. It's good to welcome you today. We have a couple of items to share, and I want to begin with Judy Cowan, who is the president of the Ohio Energy and Advanced Manufacturing Center, but she's also a longtime member of the Lima Auto Task Force, and she has really been grinding away on an event that the task force is sponsoring coming up at on September 6th. Judy, why don't you come up and share some information about that and opportunities for people to register.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. I sent all the media a copy of our official invitation, but in case it landed on somebody else's desk, remind everyone that the Lima Auto Task Force, which I looked it up, I think you started that in 2005, actually. Can that be? Yeah. We've had, some activities, and one of our major activities right now is planning what we're calling the Regional Auto Growth Summit. It's going to be held at UNOH, and thank you to the UNOH folks for allowing us to have it there in their high-performance building. So we're inviting companies and some other interested individuals from a 10-county region. Our typical 10-county, and going as far south as Logan and Shelby, as far north as Paulding and Putnam, and Hancock and Hardin, to the east. So we're going to have a featured speaker, Sean McClendon, from the Center for Automotive Research up in Dearborn. Sean has spoken in Lima before. He's a fascinating speaker. He is a research analyst, an economist. He's all about the data. He tells it straight. He really doesn't soften up the news. If it's good news, he shares it. If it's bad news and things that he thinks we should be doing and addressing, he shares that as well. So it's really educational and extremely informative. And then in between all that, he makes it funny. So he's a really great speaker. He will be coming. He'll be sharing a lot of great data with us. In addition to his speech, the mayor will be speaking, of course. And we're going to have some of the companies setting up displays in the area so we can have a little bit of a speed dating between the large companies and the small companies. We've had some small successes lately, matching some small companies with some of our big companies, providing a small service or a small component that they might need in their business. So we'd like to expand that speed dating atmosphere. So it's going to be networking. It's going to be a great speech. It's going to be interesting. Ohio Northern's going to have some of their race cars there, and you can talk to some of the people that work on them and drive them, and we're going to tour their garage. And we're going to have a great lunch supplied by Lock 16. So September 6th, UNOH, 9 to about 1 or when everybody leaves. UNOH is more than happy to give everybody a full campus tour if they want it. Anyone who, wants to walk the whole campus, they're offering that too. So, did I forget anything?
And they register online.
You register online at the Chamber's website, the Chamber's new and improved website. If you haven't been on it, it's quite slick. It is... what is it? www.limachamber.com. Go to the right side of the screen. It says event list. Scroll down to September 6th, and you can register online. Exceptionally cool.
Very good.
Questions? Excellent. Love questions. Thank you.
There were roughly 200 businesses that I believe in the 10-county area that are in the automotive business that were invited, and we don't see this as just a one-time event. It's an opportunity for us to hopefully create a network among those businesses and to also begin a very deliberate sharing of information from the Center for Automotive Research on a regular basis. So we're seeing this as a way to stimulate the automotive business here by, as Judy described, trying to create some relationships among businesses in the region, but then we're also wanting to get them the kind of expert information that's provided to us as a part of the Automotive Communities Program and in the hands of folks that are literally operating their plants in our region. So it's, I think, a new opportunity for us to help stimulate that part of our economy, and we're looking forward to kicking it off with this event. Thank you, Judy. A couple of well, let me, before I go to some city-related topics, I'd like to bring up Connie Miller from LACNIP to talk about what's happened with our community gardens this year and the harvests that are now occurring.
Yes, thanks, David. We've had a good garden season. It's been cooler, and we've had a lot of rain this year, so that helped immensely. I am drowning in green beans. I can tell you that right now. For all of our friends and people out there who are also experiencing a lot of produce, we want to help you learn how to preserve that produce and be able to use it all winter long. And so we're sponsoring our annual class on canning and preserving at the LACNIP Resource Center at 1440 West Spring Street on Tuesday evening, August 27th. This year we're going to begin at 6 p.m. with a potluck, and we'd like for you to bring a dish made with your own produce if you can. If you don't have your own produce, you can go and get some, purchase some, or bring whatever dish that you like to make and come and share with us a meal at 6 o'clock, and then at 6:30 we will have the county extension agent Kathy Oliver from Hardin County. She'll be here, and she'll lead our class on canning, preserving, and we just have a great time at these classes talking about growing and preserving and cooking. And any questions that you have, you can ask, and people share their tips. And I learn something new every time. And we've had capacity crowds each time we've had one of these classes. Everybody that signs up shows up, and we just have a great time sharing. So remember the date, August 27th, 6 o'clock.
Next week.
Next Tuesday. You can register for the class by calling 419-221-5177. We don't have a limit on the number of people. We just want to know so we can make sure we have enough beverage and enough plates and things for all of those who come for the dinner, and enough space and enough handouts for everyone. You will go home with a pile of material that will help you once you get a week or two away from the class and you can't quite remember how long they said to process that produce so that it would be fresh for you. And while I'm here, I want to remind everyone that LACNIP will be having our second chicken barbecue of the season on Labor Day. That's September 2nd, at the LACNIP Resource Center from 11 to 2 p.m. Tickets are available in advance for $8 from LACNIP members, or by calling 419-221-5177. That will go to help support the Resource Center.
And that is, again, located, that is the former
number 4 fire station at 1440 West Spring Street.
And both of these events will be there.
Both of these events will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you, Connie. I want to invite, is it the chief or is it Major Cortes? Both. Both. He was trying to palm off, both of them were trying to palm off responsibility. So if both would come forward. And we have special outreach that's going to take place for police hiring purposes.
Yeah, first of all, Mayor, I would just like to say that if it's Angel trying to get me to do the work, it's palming it off. For me trying to get Angel to do the work, it's called delegation. Good morning, everyone. The Lima Police Department currently has 4 positions for police officers that we would like to fill. And the Lima Civil Service Board has already agreed to giving the written test for that to begin that process. And we do not have the exact date, time, or location yet. But in anticipation of that coming up very soon, we're hoping possibly as soon as the second half of the month of September. We are going to begin our initiative of providing a series of tutorial and information sessions for anyone that might even think they're interested in becoming a police officer. And I will let Major Cortes, who's going to be one of the presenters for those tutorial and information sessions, give a little bit more information here in just a moment regarding that. But I wanted to just emphasize the fact that the City of Lima is an equal opportunity employer. So again, now for the position of police officer, there are some restrictions that would keep someone from being able to have that job that might not prohibit them from other jobs within the city because of the legal requirements and the statutes that govern the qualifications for a peace officer in the state of Ohio. But part of what the tutorial will do will be present those restrictions, those guidelines, so that people will have a better understanding of whether or not they qualify, and also to allow them a better understanding of what the process is going forward. So that as they go through what is a very lengthy and sometimes cumbersome process, they will hopefully not get quite as discouraged. But again, so anyone at all that is even thinking they may be interested in becoming a police officer, we are going to have 14 total sessions we've got scheduled. 13 total sessions that we were able to get scheduled. No one has to come out to any more than one session. If somebody wanted to come to more than one to get the same information a second time, that would be certainly acceptable, and we have no objections to that. But again, if you're at all remotely interested in becoming a police officer, we would like to encourage you to come out to at least one of these sessions. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Major Cortes. Thank you.
You pretty much covered it all. But honestly, we are definitely looking for qualified candidates, and we encourage the members of this community to take the test. We would like to see people who grew up in Lima, were raised here and have families here, take the test and come to work for us. We're going to be covering 13 tutorials, because the test we're expecting, we're going to do it at the end of September. If it goes longer than that, then we'll do more. Like the chief said, you only have to attend one. There is a background removal standards that we'll be discussing at these tutorials, and some other things that we'll be discussing will be the selection process, the benefits and wage package, a short history of the Lima Police Department, how we operate now, how we operated in the past. We'll talk about the city of Lima a little bit, and then we'll provide them with a practice test. The tutorial should take no more than 2 hours, and they only have to attend one. We have two coming up at the Cheryl Allen Center. The first one is on Tuesday, August 27th from 6 to 8 p.m., and the second one is on Tuesday, September 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. And then the rest of them are going to be scheduled at Rhodes State. And I do have handouts that I'll provide for you with those dates. And like I said, we have 13 total, and hopefully we'll be able to accomplish our task and bring in some young folks from the city of Lima. And if not, we'll take the best qualified candidates from surrounding agencies. But that's what we're looking for.
Not agencies.
Well, we'll take agencies too, but areas, yes.
We'll get the other police agencies around here already upset with us.
So if anyone has any questions, we can do that, or I can just give you the list of times and dates and locations.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I think in the past, the department's done 2, maybe 3 of these sessions, and there have been a variety of voices saying, well, they couldn't make it because it didn't fit their schedule. So what's been done by scheduling 13 is to try to really make it as available as possible for people, regardless of their schedules. So it's going to happen as early as next week, and then stretch out into the middle of the month. And we really would appreciate the help of the media in getting the word out about that. I think they're very important sessions. I don't believe it's required, although you kind of implied. It's not required if someone wants to take the test without this, but this is a great help to anybody that would want some background information about what is involved. You also do not need any prior training to be a police officer. I know that there are Rhodes and I think Apollo, both have law enforcement programs, and the state. But somebody who's age of 21 who may be looking for a new career or their first job in a professional capacity, you do not need to have any prior training in law enforcement in order to participate and to compete. So we want to encourage people to consider it, and the best way to actually learn about it is take advantage of one of these outreach sessions. So, thank you, gentlemen. And Howard Elstro is here to also talk about some hiring opportunities in the Public Works Department.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm often asked by city residents, is the city hiring? And the answer is yes. But to be hired, one must take the civil service exam and have their name listed on what we call an eligibility list. There are two opportunities short term here to have your name placed on these eligibility lists, actually three, counting the Lima Police Department test. In the Public Works Department, we have what we call Construction Maintenance 1 or C&M 1, which are workers who work in both our parks as well as our street division. These are the people who you see operating equipment, street sweepers, snow plows, mowers, who do work on street and in park maintenance. And there will be a test for those interested in competing for those positions. The test date is September 21st. You must register with the Civil Service Board by September 11th if you want to sit for that test. The training that is required is completion of secondary education and 2 years construction and maintenance experience. You must possess a Class A commercial driver's license with no air brake restrictions and a tanker endorsement by the date of the appointment. So that means interested parties who want to work for the city in this capacity don't necessarily have to have a CDL at this moment in time. But what we would encourage you to do, once you fill out the application and file that with the Civil Service Board, then you have a period of time to go and seek your CDL so that you'll be eligible for this position. The other position that is now being advertised by the Civil Service Board is that of Park Ranger. Now, this is a blend of police work as well as maintenance workers. The requirement is a secondary education and training and experience involving public contact, must be 21 years of age and possess an Ohio driver's license. You must be able to obtain Ohio Peace Officer certification within 6 months of the appointment. You must obtain a commercial driver's license with the appropriate endorsements, and there's some other qualifications. The peace officer and the CDL can be obtained after the appointment date in the case of the park ranger. And I think most people are familiar with the park ranger model here in the city of Lima. They are, as I said, certified peace officers, but they also, in their job description, can do maintenance that's related to the parks, whether it be mowing or actual construction of things in the park. So it's a grand opportunity. The test dates are the same, September 21st with a registration date of September 11th for those positions as well. So I'd encourage all parties to look into that further. There are applications and job specifications at the municipal building front lobby. Those can be picked up anytime during regular hours, but your application must be filed with the board at 212 North Elizabeth Street. Thank you.
That's all that we have for today. Thank you for attending, and we'll break down for interviews. And I'm interested to see whether the chief will delegate or whether the major will palm off. Thank you.